What's up? I'm Vincent, and we're here for another gym facility tour.
Yeah.
A little different, yeah, with Chris DUFFIN.
Except Matt showed up today when well, this is our gym. It's all on crates right now.
Nice looking.
So yeah.
Pallets add stability.
Pallets, yeah. So we're not gonna get much training in today, I think.
No.
There's a reason for this though. So this is actually, we're expanding our shipping warehouse to be able to keep up with on orders. And so that's gonna be coming in here, and these are gonna be, you know, the main areas where the freight trucks are coming to pick up Kabuki products, heading out to our customers. So we've got another building that we're in the process today of moving the gym into, which can be cool because you're gonna get to see the first tour, even before our members, of our new training facility, which is pretty bomb. So it's, we're excited for that.
I definitely want to show off some of like the unique tweaks and stuff you've done to equipment.
Yeah.
Is really cool.
Yeah.
But let's see what they got with manufacturing stuff. Kabuki Strength making great barbells and a bunch of other rad products. Shoulder rock, a bunch of stuff I've used.
Yeah, you've used a lot of our stuff through the years. So I know that, the transformer bars have been critical in that.
Game saver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just keeps me being able to lift and not hurt.
Yep. And we're definitely gonna check out the new one so you can get your hands on that today.
Awesome. All right, let's go see what we got.
And everything, because
so as we are in the Pacific Northwest and things here are mandated with mask, feel how you want to feel about it. This is a private facility. I was asked to wear a mask. We're going to wear a mask.
I don't know what you want to catch, but these are the new ends on the new transformer bar.
Those are cool. So with the old one, you could go all the way around, but
but there was no value.
There's some redundancy.
There was no value in those settings.
Right.
And then with the click pin, we actually needed to put that, you know, in a position that was out of the way of the rack.
Right.
So I guess we could have figured out a way to do it, but there's really no value. So these are the main settings. There is one backward setting right here. What we've found is actually moving the weight behind you is really great for hinge mechanics. So if you go
good morning, or
if you go do it a good morning, you're teaching a good morning, it basically forces you into position. So
yeah, I also love that with the cheat sheet being on it.
Yeah,
is great.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got basically what's similar, and then easy or harder.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So it's pretty straightforward, so somebody can just walk
even
up
with
to
a
it.
color gradient.
Yeah.
Everyone knows red's harder.
You know, there's a little bit of variability from lifter to lifter, so it's not always going to be exactly that, but it gets you like in a range what's going to get, and then you're going to find out this setting feels good for me. This is the one I'm going to use, and this is the one I'm going to progress to or regress to depending on whatever your needs are. But you're going to find the sets of ones that work for you, and that just gets you right there really fast.
Are y'all hand welding and still doing everything here?
Yes, everything's done in-house.
Nice. Casual tunnel.
There we go. There we go.
I think just because my old man was a fabricator and boilermaker, like I've always just still been such attracted to welds and machines.
I mean, but look, I mean,
I know.
Like, our work's pretty damn good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
We definitely pride ourselves in what we do. Which one of these is yours?
I need to get one if I have somewhere to strap it to the front of the truck.
Well,
it's
especially
the
attachment. You know, a lot of people, they think about this as a trap bar.
Right.
And don't realize like the openness, and the reason we designed that and brought that to market is that allows a lot more other athletic movements, the single leg work, the carries, the lunges, like all these other things that are used in those areas that makes it basically an incredibly versatile neutral diff deadlift, but any sort of single leg work, like it's massive. And then obviously it stores quite nice. You can see how many, like, it negates the need for a lot of the issues people have with like them not fitting in bar holders and things like that. Not to mention the fact of like literally with one hand, you can get into a position to load and unload plates with
up to
that's like
nice.
1,000. You can do that with 1,000 pounds with one hand.
The built-in kickstand on it is awesome piece. Yeah, I think as far as athletes go who are trying to chase performance, the trap bar is such a more valuable tool than the barbell.
Oh yeah. I
mean, why risk it?
Well, that's my philosophy and has been for a while. I mean, we're kind of known as really we brought like specialty bars into a whole new envelope and awareness as a company. But that's because they have such value. Like, yes, a straight bar is great, but it's not the best for all applications. It simply isn't. It's just something we've had around forever.
And it's what we test with in powerlifting.
It is. But and that's not going to change.
No,
at the end of the day, if you're doing powerlifting, you need a good straight bar.
If you're not a total based athlete, do whatever's the most effective, gets the least amount of risk.
Let me show you something really cool.
All right. I like cool things.
So I want to show you something really cool. You'll love this with kind of your Highlands background and training. This is one of the options. So you've got different handle sizes.
Oh no.
This is what we call the love handles. So with the Kabuki tacky grip on here, it actually, you just feel how it's like you actually get that full grip all the way through the hand. It actually feels really good.
Now,
and you'll notice, you see these features here?
Yeah.
That's because the mounting system, you can either put a bracket in here that locks it in place or one that it spins on. It's the only barbell with basically a rolling thunder handle.
Oh no. Now,
isn't that cool?
That's so rad. Yeah,
so it's basically two handles in one. And the grip is just so much different than any other large handle.
Right.
Because of the tackiness in that.
Yeah, the knurling you guys use is super fine.
Yeah.
And I've always, man, knurling's so particular to everybody. I never wanted that big cheese grater knurling.
You don't want the like, ours is different because it literally feels like it just sticks.
It's like velvety.
Yeah.
That's how I've always described good knurling. Feels like this velvet. Like I don't want it to rip my hands apart.
Yep. You can make it. A lot of people like that because they think that it's doing because you can get it's just like taking a massive pre-workout that just like makes you feel cracked out. Like, I know it's doing something, but then you can't even focus on your training.
No, what I want is what's the least amount of knurling I need to never slip out of my hand.
So yeah, we sell a set of handle brackets for a normal grip person as well. Another set for like our NFL players, like a Brian Shaw, Thor, the big wide, or even the NBA players, because they're so tall, they end up, their legs are out here by the time, their feet aren't wider, but by the time they get down there, they're at a wider point of their torso.
Sure.
And then narrow ones for like children, teens, or smaller frame people, and then have the 1 inch, the 1.5 inch, and then the 2 inch love handle is option, which then is a rolling thunder or a fixed.
Yeah.
So I thought you'd like this.
Rolling thunders are so mean.
These are freaking just so awesome. I love them.
Yep. And grip training, man. The grip training stuff makes a big difference with elbow pain and recovery. Like it seems that once I got used to really cranking down and squeezing stuff, I got rid of a bunch of elbow pain that I was feeling. So go figure.
Yeah. So anyway, love handles. Love the name too.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go look at some machines. So Matt, what we've got here, we got raw bar stock cut to length. We're facing it, basically turning down these end smooth and putting these little grooves in here. This is the retainer that holds that whole end assembly on there. So pretty simple operation. I think one just finished, so we'll let Chris come over here and unload that or transfer.
I love that you're doing it all here.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah, you can see that there in the machine.
Big scary machines.
And flipping it around and do the other side. All right.
So
and that's pretty much it.
Is it a 3D cut or is it?
This is actually a 7-axis mill and lathe combo, but right now it's doing some really basic 2-axis lathe work. This is a pretty simple operation that we've got going on this one. We can make some wild shit on this machine. We're not doing that right now today. Right. This lathe here is another multi-axis machine. I think it's a 5-axis machine. It's got 2 different heads in here, turning heads, one here and one on the other side. This allows us to do 2 different operations at once. Really keeps the labor cost down. Those are things that you got to look at doing when you're going to make a successful American manufacturing company, is being able to take off some of that labor that's not adding value, so that we're able to hire one, high-skilled people that we can pay well,
right,
but we're not paying them to do really basic stuff. So we can do one operation here, transfer it to the other side, do the other operation, and dump it out through the door.
Yeah, I love it. You can see the knurling.
Yep. So right now, we're doing a fairly simple job, just like we were on the other machine. This is the handles for the shoulder rock, which is actually what we launched Kabuki Strength with. This was the first product, which was a loadable swinging mace, which really established our brand as a movement-based brand, improving biomechanics, all that sort of stuff. And you were one of the first people to use
I love it.
The shoulder rock.
You know, I'd used the mace for a long time, and then with the HVIII games being the hammer, it made sense to me immediately.
Yeah, we do a lot of turning on the end, knurling, all that goes on in the machine. And yeah, you identified.
Yeah.
We've got all the tools in the changer here. The other lathe didn't have all those tools. They're actually in the behind of it because it's actually like a mill. But this changes tools a lot faster. This is called a turret. Yeah, these are the knurling tools on there that are doing that operation today.
Is this what flares the end out?
No, the flare. So actually, we don't do the flare anymore.
Okay.
No, we actually have a machined piece. So this does drilling and tapping, and then we put the radius, the same radius on there that the boomstick is, so you can actually do your soft tissue work with it as well to make it a multi-use tool. It might have reduced our boomstick sales a little bit, but it seemed like the right thing to do to me.
It does seem like the right thing. Why not? I mean, look.
We needed a nub on there to stop the hand from going. So we've got a 14-inch long knurl on that, and it needs supported. Otherwise, it's going to wobble around. So it just is a back end, provides some support on that for that.
I like CNC machines.
This machine here is a little bit older. You'll notice by looking at it. I love this machine though. This is actually a machine that I had from a prior company that I used to run. Called Warren Industries.
All right.
And you know that big ass bumper on my truck?
Yeah.
This actually made that.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that was the first bumper off the production line at the time. Kind of cool story. Our head engineer here, he used to run the R&D department for me. And this was his baby. Another cool story.
Came with him.
This was on the USS Missouri in World War II.
No way.
And was literally, the USS Missouri is where the Japanese surrendered to the US. So this was probably within a few hundred yards of that event happening.
Man, I never think about them needing full fabrication on.
They do. They have full machine shops. Yeah. So.
Yeah, of course. You're not getting parts up there.
So the only thing is, this has been updated with modern electronics since that time. But it's a really cool machine. We have this one because of forming things like our Duffalo bar, the handles on the transformer bar. And to do that, you need a huge travel. And a lot of machines today are not made with the amount of travel that this one does, which allows us to put the roller dies and stuff in here to be able to do that work again. To keep costs down, I can put the transformer bar, form the whole thing at once. Duffalo bar, form the whole thing at once.
Yeah, instead of just individually bending tube.
Right. Again, how do we keep this stuff in the U.S., make a great product, control the quality, manage the supply chain? Today it's set up, it's not being run right now, operator's probably at break, but we're taking these flat laser cut brackets here, and we're actually forming up the handles on the trap bar. On the trap bar, yeah, you recognize that instantly. So you can see we've got a gauge here for the different width handles, so they can do a double check to make sure they're fit, and then straight into. We got a pile of finished product going on down there.
Yeah, these big iron brakes and shears, and then the shear side of it's so gnarly.
I knew you'd love the story on that one.
That's super, super cool.
So Matt, step in close. We've been talking about that transformer bar a bunch today. So these are the start. Is this hot? No. All right. Always got to check with welded parts here. I don't have gloves like Elena does here. So we've got the start to this product going on. We control how it's produced with these fixtures. So you can see it's locating the spud, it's locating all the components so that we can ensure that we've got great fitment. We still test fit every one before it goes out the door. So we've got 3 stages of production before we've got a finished part.
Front plate, keep it this plate like that.
Yeah.
And you just tack it in, and then you wait it out, and then you just go down.
Yep.
Oh, so this is how we're welding the...
So we're making a raw sleeve. So we do, we take some base. So a lot of companies actually just loosely set these together.
Right.
We actually, ours would hold up even without welding. We use that 200-ton press we were showing you. Actually, sorry, we use a smaller one. This is a what we call an interference fit. So that parts actually don't fit together and they have to be forced together. So if you tried to take this apart, it would just gall the metal, like it wouldn't even come apart. But then we go ahead and weld it,
Anyway.
just to be safe. So Travis is running a rotary welder here. So it actually turns on and off, kind of controls that. This chamfer in here is an area that creates space.
Nice bevel.
So we can actually get that weld penetrated into it. And then
Very cool.
you can see the finished product over here. Don't touch these.
New.
These are steaming hot. But you can see this.
Now do you
And that obviously looks,
post, or do you?
this actually goes right back into the CNC.
Oh, okay.
And they turn that off
turn
at
it
the
down.
same time it comes through and does the finish turn on all of this. You can see the inside's already done. So we'll locate on this surface and to control that, and then turn it all centered to the bearing surface. Put a new bearing surface in the back and get that finish on there. So there's a lot involved with making a barbell sleeve.
Yeah, or good ones.
Yeah, and there's some companies that do what we call a friction welding process. There's nothing better about that process. It's just a high capital investment and then reduces your labor cost even further.
Yeah, I've seen them do that with,
if you have the volume.
Wheels.
Yeah. So
very, very crazy.
But this is basically a process that these can't ever fail.
Yeah,
so
never fail, right.
there's no, if you hear about other welding processes, there's nothing better. It may be some cost savings or something based on volumes that they're able to do.
I've seen press fit stuff like that where they'll actually super cool one piece and then heat the other because it gives it the tiniest micron of gap.
So yeah, these are, we're machining up basically the bar ends on a lot of mount points. So these will get welded up into the pieces, but these go on the Cadillac bar, as well as we do something similar on the transformer bar as well. So we got, this machine's a little oversized for this operation, but it does other things as well. So there's that. And then behind us, we got this little thing here. It's a DUFFIN side project that's been around for ages. Yeah, you can check that out.
Super cool.
Here, check out that cage system inside.
Oh, yeah.
Now, getting that cage that runs all the way through this body and around these, and getting 4 doors to work.
And getting 4 doors to work. Yeah.
Getting 4 doors to work and having room for 4-wheel steering. Yeah, a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I would have had that real folded up nice.
Well, yeah, it's actually those tubes like roll this way and that way and then this, like it's, my family's all artists. I never realized till like many years later that I am too. I just have a different way of expressing it.
Yeah, right.
Because they all do music and drawing and sculpture, and I'm like,
well, you fabricate.
Yeah.
There's something artistry in cages and design, and
there's artistry in our products. Yeah. Like that's,
I mean, even the little bit you've shown me of your flatbed, there's a reason the arc here also matches the radius of the one underneath. Like,
and it actually ties to the box, like
it matters.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it fucking matters, people.
Yeah.
The details matter.
Well, I'm glad you appreciate it.
Oh,
I'll show you some more. Let's climb up on the tires and I'll show you some cool shit. That's what I said. It's kind of, and all the points, the main points, like go all the way through the cab to the frame. So you've seen exo cages, you've seen inner cages, but nothing actually does what this baby does, which is full spreader support.
That's
if it ever. So Matt, first thing, you can probably take the mask down now that we're away from our staff, and just want to thank you for wearing that while we're touring the facilities. Last thing I want is to endanger our employees and
look, it's still, whether I feel whatever I feel about it, this is still a private facility. I'm a guest. I was asked to do a thing. That's how things work. If not, I can hang it outside. You know?
Yeah.
I don't understand people's hang up to all this.
I know. It's like, you got, at the end of the day, you can have whatever views you want, but respect other people around you.
That's it.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got the, what I call the war rig here, which is, you know, but like Kabuki, we do innovative, creative shit. This is like one of my side projects. We're bolting the top end on this baby with supercharger. It's going to be putting out, like I said, 700 plus horsepower, 700 plus foot-pounds of torque through a 4-speed transfer case, Mercedes Unimog axle gears, these are very custom on this baby. But it has another 7.56 to 1 reduction there. So I get with the auto tranny somewhere around up to 300 to 1 reduction, so you could like step out of the vehicle and probably not even see it move.
Right.
Or because of the tire size and high range, I could cruise at 100 miles an hour doing desert racing, which is pretty cool. But mostly I'll probably just be delivering the kids to school to terrorize them and drop them off in this rig. So,
plus,
you know,
burnouts and donuts.
Exactly.
With steer.
So we're standing on top of 47-inch tall tires, 4-foot tall tires. When you're steering, the wheels are actually turning on different radiuses.
Okay.
So you ever hear a truck bark as it's going around the corner? That's because with a straight axle vehicle, these are straight axles, but it makes it really hard to get that inner tire to turn on a tighter radius. Because if your center point's here, this tire's here, this tire's here,
right,
they're different radiuses
they are slightly different
going. And so there's a way to design the steering through the theoretical points and then the wheelbase of the vehicle to get it to do that. Normally very hard. We've done that here, and it's done on 2 axles.
And your hydraulic steering front and rear, which adds a whole nother.
Exactly, and full speed hydraulic. So there's 2 full power steering systems in here. Redundant, so that if one fails, they still operate, but you also, mostly 4-wheel steer vehicles, if you're steering the front, you can't steer the rear or vice versa.
Right.
This has full response to both steering all the time.
So what do you have for the rear steer lever?
I just use a joystick for the rear, and the front is run off of a load sensing orbital valve. So it's hydraulic through the steering wheel, but you can actually still feel what's going on.
You still get feel.
Yeah.
So I remember that being one of the complaints about hydraulic steering is like, it just does what it wants. You set it and it doesn't get any road feel.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a load sensing one. Again, I did run a hydraulic company for a number of years too.
Right.
You name it, I think I've been there. And then the other cool thing, I'm actually using rotating unions out of a machine like this CNC right here that allows the wheel to spin but can deliver fluid, in this case it's going to be air, to the tire while it's spinning, or reduce it. So there's a digital, I can literally set the tire pressure on my dash, what I want, and it'll inflate and deflate the tire as you're standing there, as you're driving, whatever you do to get your desired. So if you're going from like a high-speed race where you want a high pressure and going into King of the Hammers, now I'm going to do some extreme right towards the end, you'd set the pressure to reduce.
That's why, and so it's running internal.
Yeah.
From the because every auto inflation type thing I've ever seen, whether it's the old H1s or in Iceland they do it a bunch on the like glacier trucks. They run it externally, but there's never any brush in Iceland. They do it super simple, so it's external to a bearing that'll pivot, and then that runs to the actual valve stem. Yeah. And so it'll spin.
This still has to feed up to the valve stem, but that'll be all protected, and then inside the hub bolt is machined so that the line will go through to fully protect it.
So cool.
So yeah, that's one of the few mini, I was showing you the controls in the back earlier, like all the air over, I have electric over pneumatic that controls overrides to the suspension, the winches, the central tire inflation, all this stuff is all like automated to run off the dash, which is really, really cool.
And if someone's really interested, you could start the bidding in the YouTube comments on this thing. We'll see where it ends up.
I do have a build thread. One's on Pirate 4x4, but I also started an Instagram that has that full detailed out, just DUFFIN War Rig if you want to check it out. But we've got all the fabrication build, like this this exo cage you see here, which is actually the frame of the vehicle. That's why there's so much of it up here. Actually, most of the frame is on the top of the vehicle versus the bottom, unlike most vehicles. But this actually runs all the key points as you go through here that would actually run fully through the vehicle behind the driver and passenger seat, fully spreading to make sure the cage can never fully collapse. In the wildest thing. Yeah, there's one that comes all the way across. This goes down.
Well, if this one bolts something this size, that'll go 100 miles through the desert.
Yeah, this one bolts in so you can pull the engine and tranny if you need to. And then, yeah, so it's been a long project because I only work on it here and there. Right now, we're in the bit of our facility, as I've told you, is like stressed to the max for space. So I lost, even though I am, you know, like.
Saying some of this other shit here is a bit more priority.
And management team's like, yeah, Duffin, that's going in the corner. Yeah. So when the new building is moved, hopefully in a couple weeks, I'll be able to start working on this again and get it finished this year.
I'm surprised you didn't figure out how to mount it vertically so it takes up less room in the corner. Just to get the extra 6 feet.
I anticipated this growing, maybe not as fast as we have as a company. So,
man.
Yeah. So this is my offland. Overland vehicle.
Yeah, it's just like the Tundra.
Yours drives though.
It does currently work pretty good. It does drive across
this
the
does
country.
a lot of sitting around in the shop doing nothing.
A fun car, man. Just such a big vehicle.
Check out that portal actually.
I know, they're so cool.
So this is like that high. This is the lowest point on the vehicle.
Right.
This
big ass coilovers.
Yeah, I'll probably be swapping those out for Kings or Foxes. They're just a cheap company. For mock-up and initial
They're
runs.
a good placeholder for current time for measurements, Yeah, I just love all the big bracing support for the hydraulic.
Yep.
So that brings us through manufacturing with Chris, and then their gym is getting finished up today, so we're going to take a tour of that as soon as it's done.